James Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We say that we're proud to stand in this House because this is the House of Commons, and the House of Commons is the House of the people of Canada. But unfortunately, what we're dealing with in this debate here today is the fact that this present regime has decided to undermine and show contempt for the people of Canada through secrecy, through misrepresentation of facts, through perjury at committees and ministerial roles, to take roles that is supposed to be there to represent all the people and use them as the private stash of the Conservative Party. And they're up on criminal charges. And we have ministers found in contempt of this House. But we can't blame the poor little staffers that they throw under the bus every week when someone gets caught. And I'm not even blaming the hapless minister. The Prime Minister himself has put his imprimatur on every single thing in this regime, and it is time that the Prime Minister of this country is held accountable for this. Mr. Speaker, let's look at their behavior in the In-N-Out scandal. They are acting like every busted crook that's ever walked the planet. They didn't do anything wrong. They just have a dispute with a prosecutor. Well, every guy going to jail has a dispute with a prosecutor. And now what they do, Mr. Speaker, when they're caught out, because the people back home need to understand what they were doing here. This was an elaborate scheme cooked up by the leaders of the Conservative Party to money launder. This is what they did. They took money from the Central Campaign and they filtered it quickly through the local some deadbeat campaign in the middle of Palookaville, Manitoba, and then they got the money back immediately to buy national ads because they were trying to get around the democratically enforced election spending limits. Now, of course, you'll hear them say, well, everybody did this. This is the other line that every crook says when they get caught. You know, everybody does this. Why should I be the one picked out? Oh, and there's always a conspiracy as to why they're the poor people caught out. Well, they're the only ones up on charges. But it's not just a money laundering scheme. They show their contempt by taking the two key buddies who made this, and they put them in the Senate. Yeah. Senator Doug Findlay sits there for life. Senator Gerstein, a bagman. And they told the people of Canada that they were going to clean up, and they told the people of Canada that they were going to do something different. What did they do? They put bagmen and party hacks. Oh, there's Senator Husakos, another bagman. Put them in the House that's supposed to have sober second thought. Well, that's kind of a misnomer, that line. But what they're doing is they're using the taxpayers' money to fund their operation. Now, not only did they get caught on this In-N-Out scheme, and not only has the federal court ruled it quite appropriately as a scheme, the other piece of the puzzle here that people back home have to know was they enticed local ridings to get kickbacks.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I don't want to say that all conservative, I know many friends of mine who are conservatives, many conservatives are honest. And they refused to participate. We have Conservative candidates who stood up and said, I will not participate in this illegal action. But the other ones were enticed by the kickback. And here's how the kickback worked. Because they flowed through the money, through their bank accounts and took it out, then the local riding association goes to the taxpayer of Canada to claim receipts that they weren't eligible for. So maybe you raised only $9,000 or $10,000 in a campaign, and hey, you walk out with a check for $30,000.
How does that work?
I mean, even the mob couldn't give you that kind of return on your investment. And this is what got them caught out. They thought they were flying high.
It's like trading with Panama.
Yeah, this is exactly like something you'd see in Panama. They thought they were flying high. So all these dead dog riding associations that could hardly even find candidates to run come and start saying, hey, where's the kickback that I was entitled to? And Elections Canada looked at it and said, this is a criminal act. Now, Canadians look to government to set a certain standard. But what do they find with this government? Whenever they're accused, whenever they need to do the right thing, they refuse to stand up and be accountable. They hide the evidence.
Prorogue.
They prorogue. They shut down. They attack Elections Canada. It's time they were held accountable.
It being 5:50.